Welcome to Lighten Up Talk Radio with Michael and Lee. Join us with topics that wake up the connection to your soul. You can listen to us at lightenuptalkradio.com. Hello, you all. We're here for another episode of Lighten Up Talk Radio. It is Sunday, October 7th, and we have a special guest today, Michael Braswell. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm proud to be here.
Yay. Hello, Lee.
Hello, Michael. This is going to be a very interesting session tonight with two Michaels.
Well, it is, and not only do we have a wonderful special guest, but feels like the first day of fall outside.
It does. This morning,
Changes in the air.
That's right. I went from shorts yesterday to flannel pants today. It's been a real switch.
Yeah, me too. This is the first day of pants, period,
I know.
for me.
Yeah, it's the first day I've seen you in flannel pants, too, and also with socks on. With socks.
Yeah, we are cozy in here while we're doing this show.
We are that.
I went out this morning with sandals on, turned right around, went back in.
There you
Got
go.
my boots on.
Yeah. Boots and a bathing suit.
Mm-hmm.
That bathing suit you got on today is really cute.
Is this color?
All the flowers.
This color goes around with my eyes, I think.
Little string bikini over there.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, God.
You need to turn the heat
Let
up.
me put my blinders on.
Oh, my gosh.
That's the first time I blinded someone. It wasn't my bald head.
As you can see on the air that this has been a very much of a fun day for all of us here. And we're just happy to have you, Michael.
Thank you very much.
Braswell.
Absolutely. And before we get started on whatever journey we take today, we have just put up our Lighten Up tools. Put a new, it's set up on Spreaker.com where we host these podcasts. We have the Lighten Up Talk Radio, and now we have another show set up as Lighten Up Tools where there's all kinds of meditations. We just put up 2 of Michael Braswell's meditations, which are fantastic and will take you way deep into relaxation and connecting with the angels. And I posted some the other day, so check those out. They're free for all of you. We just feel inspired to share whatever Spirit gives to us and put it out there as to help whoever. I've listened to them myself, and they've been wonderful.
So have I. They've been great. Sure have been great. I think it's great, too, that we can put it out there to whereas you don't having to spend any of your money, know, to go in there and to, order them off the internet or go to a bookstore, that type of thing. And that's part of the giving back to what we're totally, all 3 of us sitting around this table. And that is definitely a part of our purpose.
You can download them, too, so you can put them
Right.
on your iPods or give them to whoever you feel inspired to give them to.
And we're going to be having more every week.
Absolutely.
And I'll thank you from Spirit, because that's where they came from.
There you go.
Awesome.
It always does.
Absolutely. Yay.
Yay.
Well, who wants to pick a card first? We're going to kick off the show. We don't
I think
really
our
even
guest
know.
needs to do it first.
I like that idea.
I love that idea.
We've got 3 decks sitting on the table here. We've got Archangel card deck, which he's picking from. We've got Ascended Masters and Goddess deck, and then we've got Daily Guidance deck here.
Oh, this is a good one. Passion, Archangel Haniel. Trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and career.
How does that relate to you?
Well, the word I noticed in there, the operative word for me is renewed.
Ooh.
Because a lot of people have a passion in what they do. They actually have 2 passions, they think. They have a passion for the human being that they love doing, and they do it. It's their recreation or whatever. But until they get on their spiritual path, they don't know their true passion. And I think the person who's most fulfilled and the happiest is the person who's stepped onto their spiritual path, and they know that passion. They felt it. And renewed passion is even more awesome, because that means that you not only are on your spiritual path, you've felt your passion before, but for some reason you're even more dedicated to your spiritual pursuit, your spiritual growth, your spiritual enlightenment. And the renewed passion comes in much stronger, I do believe, with much more help from the archangels, from the light, from the guardian angel. So that's what it means to me, is a rededication or renewal in your passion along your spiritual path.
I love that.
I do too.
Totally resonates to me.
It
what
does
all
to me
that
as
you
well.
said, and I think it's an awesome message as well for everyone out there to take the time to reconnect with what Michael, you were talking about, that passion that goes deeper than just, you know, the surface things that we do day to day. I love that.
Yes. And I think that everybody needs to totally go into their own individual self as far as going deeper within you. A lot of times there's a lot of distractions out there, and some people are distracted by family, some other things, external type things. And you have to always keep within your own self. And because if you're not healthy and strong with your own self, then it's very difficult for you to be a backup for somebody else as far as helping them, and you haven't taken care of yourself. Number one thing is take care of yourself first. And then if they ask, then you go inwardly, because you've gotten a lot of messages from angels, archangels, or anybody from the divine, and you will be able to help them as well. So it's a two-way street, I think, with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I will pull from the same deck as Mr. Braswell.
She looks like she's used to dealing cards.
Yes, she does, doesn't she? No.
Oh, this is wonderful. Take back your power.
Ooh.
Archangel Raziel, and it says, use your God-given power and intention to manifest blessings in your life. That is a wonderful card. I've gotten that card several times, and I totally, I totally resonate with God every day, and that's how my power stays where it's at. It is going and thanking the divine order as well as all the beings, as far as thanking them for all the guidance that they give me on a 24-hour basis, because it's always there. When you actually go into your spiritual path, it is the most marvelous thing that could ever happen. It changes your whole being. I am a totally different person today than I was 20 years ago. A totally different person. And it's for the better. I've never been any happier in my entire life. And I've taken back the power of that. At times, when you have children that's involved, or parents that's involved, or exterior type people that's involved, sometimes you take too much power and you give it away instead of staying within yourself. And I believe that I have come to a good balance with that. Because I used to have the thought pattern is my children is everything to me, but what I understand is that I'm everything to me. Because if I'm not everything to me, how can I be a good parent? So I totally just switched my thinking pattern with that. And when that happened, everything just worked out much smoother in my life. And anything that comes toward me, as far as what I know that's coming in the future, which will be a spiritual type community that I have always felt like that would be there for me. It is definitely manifesting itself in 2012. I had a lot of guidance 2 years ago telling me that in October 2012 it had already been blessed. And really all I needed to do is sit back and take the steps of just going down what you have to do into this type of world, as far as going to the property, looking at it, getting maps to how to build things and physical things and all that stuff. And so that path has been done. You do have to take the steps to get there. Mm-hmm. But it's very easy and so freeing of the mind to know that it's already done. That's just what we see here in the physical world. It's already happening upstairs for all of us. And to be able to take that type of thought pattern and put it in your heart and seal it, and it never varies from that. I will have to say that I have never varied my thought pattern as far as knowing where my guidance comes. And I give every bit of my power of taking it back, the power by the card, I give that all upstairs, because it's not my power. It's divine power. And I just am very fortunate to have had the blessings to tap into it and to know that all is well and always will be. And this is a wonderful time for us to be in. And nurture yourself. Listen to all the things that is being posted on the websites as far as guidance, because everybody can have this. It's just tapping into your own power and just saying, I surrender.
Absolutely.
It's that simple.
You know, those two cards, the ones that you all picked, really resonate to me, both of them, because at times, you know, giving your power away to this or that, and to really go to the surface things. But the key connecting thread with those is you've got to go to what you all both, I believe, said. You've got to go to the source. You know, when you try to take, I know in my life where I've thought that it was me is when I fail, is when I have all the worry, the burden, the stress, and all of that stuff. And the true taking back the power is taking and recognizing that it's not us here doing it, and surrendering that there's such a divine plan working.
It's already written. It's already written for us. And all we have to do is just surrender to it and listen to the guidance and make the choices
that are in alignment with love.
This is what it is.
Love is behind it all.
It's behind it all.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm drawn to this other deck.
Okay.
Let's see what we get here. Ooh. I got this is a powerful one for me. It's the assertiveness card. This situation can be healed gently with love as you've requested. Yet there's also a need for your strength and truthfulness with the other people involved. We will stand right behind you as you speak your truth, giving you strength and guiding your words. This very much resonates to me in my life in a lot of different ways, and even various situations that have been going on in the background, and then totally in alignment with the take your power back of what you just picked. It really means to me is there's times in my life where, and I just had a conversation with my mother earlier this morning where I had to be assertive. And there's a part of me, the old part of me, that when I'm being assertive, I feel like I'm hurting somebody's feelings when I'm doing it. Or that, you know, that being strong, you know, is putting them down in some way. Because that's how I've always felt when someone would yell at me as a child. I would always feel put down or, you know, that sort of thing. And so I'm totally honoring that the assertiveness within me, as we just talked about, is from the one true source. And it's coming through for purpose. It's coming through for healing. It's coming through for truth. And so I'm putting that out there. It totally resonates to me. And this card has a beautiful angel on there playing a flute. And that really resonates to me as your truth is like your music. It's your rhythm. It's your harmony. And allowing that to flow forward is such a powerful thing. And I'm sure there's many of you out there as well that resonate with, you know, having trouble being really assertive, taking your power back and just putting it out there. So wow, we picked some powerful cards, y'all.
We sure did. And I was just, I saw Michael pick his card and looked at it, so I'm looking at mine for a second time here. And what I'm really paying attention to is that I have a tendency to always raise my hands up before we ever do and I go into a wing type look, and it's just automatic for me to do that, to actually bring in the energy into the studio, the energy into the whole, you know, for us to at our highest being, and for it to resonate out to the people to where it's to their highest being. And when I looked at this, that is the way that I normally look when I do that, where I totally feel neat. My power coming in. And it's just amazing. I've drawn this card before, but I didn't pay attention to the wings. So that is a thank you from above. Thank you for showing me that and taking me back there through Michael.
Absolutely.
I saw something on Facebook. I'm trying to think of the exact wording. It has to do with this passion card. Trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and career. And it said, if you're not with one who shows you passion, shows you respect, shows you love, and shows you friendship, then maybe you need to look elsewhere. And I said, that's kind of a rude saying until I really thought about what it was saying. And if you don't have the passion, you don't have the love, the friendship, and the respect for your partner in a relationship, it's not a sin, and it's not doing real harm to the other if you end that relationship, because actually it's helping you both. Because it's freeing you both up to find someone that you can have those things with. And you don't develop into the stages of a relationship that rust, that have all of the negativity in it. So that's something for the listeners to think about. Maybe someone came into your life just to show you how to let go. So I just got that, and that's a wonderful saying. So
that's awesome. You know what? When you read that, what stood out to me, it just went bling. The love life part of it.
Yeah.
Lee, I think you and I were talking about this earlier. Maybe that's why it popped out. But the love life, I know a lot of people out there, when they think of that, they think of, a partner, a relationship with someone. And what I'm drawn to at this point is the love with yourself, the true love being the most important to connect there. And from there births all kinds of amazing passions, power, assertiveness like we got today. I think it's wonderful.
You need to love yourself. And that's not a selfish way to look at it. You love yourself. Because if you do not love yourself, how can you really put any effort into loving other people? Because you have to find within yourself all the ingredients that love is. And love, a lot of times people equate that in different ways. But the way that I equate this is that I can love everything that is around me. And, we wrote our own chart before we came down here. If you really get right down to it, we wrote our own chart. We put on there exactly who we would meet, exactly, who, the reasons why we would meet them, and the lessons that we would learn from that. So I think that even though, talking about the relationship, Michael, like you were talking about, Michael Braswell, you were talking about, it's a situation that there was only a short period of time there that you was to be with that person to teach you lessons and to teach her lessons. It goes both ways. So it's still a loving relationship. And, I don't understand people that apart from each other that has the tendency to always want to fight with each other or bicker with each other or go back and forth with each other, because if you really get down to the bottom line of why you're here, it was to learn the lessons, and they have been your teacher. It is a teacher-to-teacher type situation.
It's unique that you are, to me it was unique, you teaching or you saying that you write your contract before you come down, because you do. That's just the way I've always believed. And people come into your life, they're written into your contract to be with you long term, to be with you just a short time, or to be with you in a moderate time.
That's right.
And when those times are up, it's time for them to go. And a lot of people may write into your contract to come in and be in a brief relationship with you to show you how to let go. Other than God, what is the most important relationship you can have? With yourself. So a lot of times it's to enable you to see things about yourself that you don't like. Now, there's a lot of things I didn't like and probably will always not like about myself, and I'll keep working on them, and Spirit will keep helping me get in touch with them and let them go. But a lot of people come into your life so that you can find out something about yourself that you can let go. Now, another person can't make you mad. a school of thought that I've always kind of leaned toward is when you get mad at another person, you're seeing something in that other person that reminds you about something about yourself that you don't like. So all of these things go hand in hand on helping you have a better relationship, I believe, with yourself.
I agree with that 100%.
I do too.
I also think that a lot of times when you get mad at the other person, there's definitely, I agree with what you said about there's something within yourself. But in a situation that really resonates to me about that is forgiveness. It's the forgiveness.
Yep.
Because I'm looking at, if I'm looking at a mirror of somebody that I cannot forgive, then there's obviously something within myself that I can't either. So the key is to break the block between. Because, and also that goes back to if you have a person in your immediate family that absolutely you've not been able to resonate, no matter what you do, it's never good enough, it's never this, it's never that. That I've actually gone into a situation of saying, okay, this person was written in because it was to teach me this lesson. And the lesson for me, that's a huge lesson, is forgiveness. So a lot of times it's, instead of looking at it as being a hindrance of having that person there, you need to look at your own self to say, thank you very much for giving me the forgiveness that I needed to let go for me. And it's just a wonderful thing when you really get down to the bare bones of this, that everybody has love. Everyone has love.
Well, I'm drawn back. I guess that's maybe where I'm at right now. My life has really been a lot about just forgiving myself, not about others so much, because whatever was something else, I was always thought that I did something wrong. It really wasn't ever about, a lot of the other things that were going on. And it's interesting, as I was listening to you all, I'm like, wow, it's... And another thing that stood out to me as well, something that you said, Michael, and the thought that came to me is as we connect with the true self within, that is connecting to God. Mm-hmm. I think that's what you were saying, on a different level. That's one thing that I've always held true in my heart, is that by going within and finding that true stream of well-being, peace, harmony, that is the God connection.
I agree there.
Yes.
And if you can't open that door within, you can't open it and let your true self out if you haven't forgiven yourself. And who's the hardest person to forgive?
Self.
We agree on that.
And a lot of times you might think, why can't I forgive that other person for this or that? And it's not about the other person at all. It's always about forgiving yourself, allowing you to forgive the other person. And once you forgive yourself about an issue, you're going to discover most of the time there's no need to forgive the other person, because the only thing you needed to do was forgive yourself.
That's beautiful. My mother showed me something in the paper that really stood out. I don't remember the details of it, but someone was talking about, a perspective of God and what was going on in the local government. And it really struck me in how the perspective was a lot about punishment, and it was written kind of from a perspective of the person feeling like whatever the other people were doing, they were going to get punished for it, for not, and it made me think, and I really started thinking about me and a lot of the things and times that I think that I had done something wrong. There was an inner belief of feeling like that I was going to get punished for it. And I think that a lot of people out there, whether they claim to subscribe to a more conservative belief system or, a more expanded belief system, whatever you want to call it, there's a feeling of somehow they're going to get punished for something. And I think, what I'm also drawn to is the show where you did that beautiful meditation of the creation. Because, and I get chill bumps talking about this, because there was something in that was given to you that cleared on some level that deeper within me by listening to that.
I think that's why I'm so blessed when I see someone step onto their spiritual path, because that allows them to actually forgive themselves not only for whatever they've done, but it allows them to know that they're worthy.
Mm-hmm.
And because you just talked about governments and what's going on in the world. It is kind of man's control, totally. Mm-hmm. And sad to say, a lot of churches are about man's control. Mm-hmm. A lot of them aren't, but a lot of them are. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people I talk to may leave a church because of the manpower, the control over it, and the thirst for money instead of the thirst for knowledge and enlightenment. The one thing your spiritual path brings you in the enlightenment is an inner knowing about these situations that you can not worry about anymore, that you cannot fixate over as you've done as a human being. Mm-hmm. As soon as you step onto your spiritual path, you're going to evolve to a point where you know more of the overall picture, and you know that they may be doing the best they can in their situation with how they were taught and how they were raised. Mm-hmm. A personal, if I may, a personal example is for years I didn't forgive my father for certain things. Mm-hmm. Now, when I got older, all of a sudden I said, I'm just going to release those feelings of guilt and everything in me for him. And as soon as I released those, it came to me that just what I said, he was doing the best he could with how he was raised and the situation he was in and being a father and being a husband. And as soon as I realized that, everything was forgiven. But mostly I forgave myself because I held those feelings when they weren't necessary. So that just came to me. I had to say that.
That's true. I think that resonates totally with me as well. Because when I finally realized that the parents that I have were put into my life for lessons, then I could actually say if this individual had not been in my life, I could very well be not where I'm at today, because I went over and above that type of thinking to where I could forgive it. And I was always thinking in my childhood I was not good enough. I was kind of like had the Michael syndrome here. And I always felt like in a lot of situations that I was, but in other situations I could walk right into the door of home and I felt like I was never good enough. But when I walked out of the door to go to school or to go into whatever else that I was doing in my life, I always felt like I was excelling. Mm-hmm. And so it's a very interesting thread there. Mm-hmm. And I really can look back and say I put my own self there. And after I learned how this works and how this person was put there to teach me lessons about this, I think it even made me a stronger person. Mm-hmm. But I still have gone through ups and downs with this as far as when I walk into the energy, I have to really concentrate on thinking to myself, I'm good enough. I'm still good enough, you see. So I work on that every time that I'm in the energy of that person. Now, what I have really concentrated on for the past, I'd say 3 to 4 months, I can go back just that far, is that I've learned to step out of that energy. When I'm around the person, I have accepted exactly how their energy revolves. I've accepted that I am good enough, period. And I also can step out of that negativity, that is the way I see, and I can say, bless it. I bless this. Absolutely. So even though it still goes on, and it's gone on for a long, all my life, then I still bless it. And when I bless it, it's like I go to a totally different place in my head of total godly, of saying, good job. Good job. So I've changed my thinking that it's not good enough to where it's a good job when I go to that level.
You know, I think the common thread here is, it seems to me, there's a deep common thread of whenever we take on a belief system, you know, about this or that
Right.
or whatever,
Right.
the core in coming back to the true self is surrendering all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
That,
true.
again, we're not in control. The only thing we're in control of is the free will choice that we have to make. When we surrender any type of judgment or belief system to something, we may not even know what it is, but if we're willing to lay down maybe whatever we do think about something, it opens the door to a whole new, refreshed, renewed, because that word renewed means a lot to me right now, and I've heard it used several times today. Perspective on things.
And that's what the spiritual path does. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Of everything we've discussed with this, that really is what that does. And when you can get within yourself and really listen to divine guidance that will come to you, everybody. There's not anybody out there that is not able to get that. And whenever you once get to that point, everything in your whole life changes. It changes to greatness and happiness and all the other things that go along with it. And what an awakening that is.
Absolutely. I like to put the intention out today while we're all together talking about this. For anyone listening, what is the next step for you to step onto your spiritual path? And you may already be on it, but what is the next step to deepen it? Deepen that connection. We've talked about a lot of things today, but
We have.
One of the core ones is going within yourself to get that answer.
Absolutely. And I'll also say that when you go within yourself, you know, I went through a whole saying here of a lot of monkey mind, to where I was just jumping from one side to the other of the cage. Part of the time I was good, the other part of the time I was going off track. And, you know, that might be the phase that you'll go through in the very beginning. But if you keep on it and you keep going down that trail, it will totally come within you to where you will stay centered within your own soul, because it's soul driven. And it will stay centered there to whereas you will totally be able to be exactly where you need to be within your life. And just don't ever question it. Don't ever question it, because there's not anything to question about it. It's kind of like, you know, you hear a lot of things on the news and everything now about the presidential election, and I'll put this as an example. To me, it really makes no difference about the presidential election, because that is not my source, and my source is much higher than that.
We just got a flash on that one.
We
Lights
sure
just
did.
blinked, right?
And we've got, you know, that's my source, and there should be no fear out there about anything. Because when you tap in to your higher source and to God, it makes no difference. And I will assure you that whomever needs to go into that office will be God sent, period. The person that's there now is God sent. The person that will go in, whichever, is God sent.
Amen.
You know, instead of complaining about the election, I'd offer a suggestion to all the listeners that they pray and send prayers up that whoever does win the office and steps into the presidency or stays into the office of presidency, that they pray that God sends angels to guide them, that God gives his love and his passion and his energy to them, and helps them renew their passion for the human being, renew their passion for the country and for the people, and ask more guidance from God. Because I think if we put enough force there, if we put enough of our emphasis there instead of complaining, you could change the world.
Exactly.
Amen.
It is totally
Really could.
universal power to do it that way. And that's really what Light Workers that's here is absolutely working on, I think, on a daily basis. So there's a number that does that. But to be able to get the vast majority and all, eventually all, that's there, there's not anything that we could not go out there and conquer, and that would be famine, anything.
Absolutely.
Anything.
And I think the key to all this, no matter what president's in place, if each one of us goes within, it doesn't really matter. It makes no difference. All we have to do is get on our own purpose, our own path, and be the best that we can be. And from being that, you inspire others to be the best that they can be. And then we grow this amazing grid of love and light around the planet. And from there is the only real way to inspire the world to change to be the best that it can be, is each one of us getting on our path.
We're all part of the oneness. What you just said, Michael Light, if you go into yourself, you're tapping into the oneness. You're tapping into what's inside them. Mm-hmm. You're changing them from the inside.
It's wonderful.
You're influencing them from the inside.
That's beautiful.
When we start feeling love within all of us, which we all have, and we can turn the TVs off and not listen to any of the news, that's a huge start right there.
Mm-hmm.
Because the news, I've been in it before myself, and I can tell you that it's all around negativism.
Sensationalism.
It's totally around that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can have 1 grain of something that was negative and 10 grains of something that was great, and they're going to pick that one every time. And if you can't mentally go there right now in your own head to just do it yourself, turn the TV off and don't listen to it. Just don't listen to it, because it really makes no difference.
Another way to think about that too, I just had the vision of, a radio dial. When you have all of this negativity or different perspectives bombarding you, it's like static. You can't really, it makes it difficult to find that inner place of peace. Whereas if you turn that dial and tune to a station that's focused, and that station could be the within, the true source, the oneness, as Michael was talking about, how we're all connected through the oneness, then you get a clear signal, a clear direction, a clear purpose, clear passion, clear power, because
clear everything.
Everything you go right on down the list.
It's totally clear. And that's one of the things that we're trying to do with what we're doing right now.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're sitting around this table doing that. And it's just like, universally, that's one thing that the computers have done. You can go, all over the world with bringing your message. Mm-hmm. The message just needs to be uplifting and true, and it be totally something that people can resonate to, and let's grow as one.
It's totally symbolic of the oneness.
It seems to be pretty simple.
Is it not?
It's just the oneness part. And I can't, that's what we'll be doing regardless of what we do. If it's radio, TV, if it's writing books, which both of us is I think all three of us pretty much into doing some of that. It will always be an uplifting type situation. And because that is divine order. If you really get to it, everything is divine order. And when you think that way and you live that way, and you will not even go off the path of that, how wonderful that is. And it's just total freedom. It's total freedom to work with yourself as well as the universe. It's a universal law.
That's wonderful. And with that, I'd like to just bless and put that intention for all of us, all of you listeners, to bless everyone that we come in contact with.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what their path, even if to you or someone else it seems like it's wrong or negative or whatever, to bless it, because they have their own path and their own journey to learn their own lessons and grow. And it's not for any one of us to judge it.
No, it's not.
Or we end up judging ourselves and
Exactly.
create a roadblock for ourselves to work through. And so why not just free ourselves and free others in the same moment?
I think it's great. And I will say let me just add one little thing to that.
Go for it.
You know I will.
You're on it.
Miss Bashful.
Yeah. Now you got me running the marathon here. when someone's energy around me is the negative type of energy, let's just say it that way. I'm not going to judge that. But when it's there, I just step totally out of it because it's not going to affect me. If it's just because that's their journey, I go. That is their journey. But Absolutely. I have my journey, and my journey is not to listen to it.
And I'm so with you with that now, but it has taken me quite a while to get to that place.
It is
because
not
there would be a little
journey.
stitch of something in me that would feel, oh, but maybe I could change it or whatever. But I'm so with you. But it's taken a long journey for me to get to that place of total realization and the awareness of that, of exactly what you're saying, of in that moment where you have the choice, because there's always a choice that you have to get, even in, let's say it's a heated conversation of, oh, I could put my 10 cents in, or I could step out.
Just step out of it.
And the stepping out is always,
I've
learned for myself, and it's been a lot of repetitive cycles of learning and seeing, oh, look how that blew the situation or made me go a whole nother loop of it, whereas I could have just stepped out and just freed us all.
Because that was their deal. It's not your deal.
Well,
right. I mean, that's the way I feel about it.
It took me a long time to learn that.
And it will.
And for all of those out there, I think it's important to not judge yourself for even if you do step back into it. Because sometimes stepping back into it, as it has for me, has allowed me to see what happens when you step in or when you step out. Kind of play the game.
Right.
And go, oh, wow. And boy, have I learned, as you all have said, how much more freeing it is just to step out.
I just totally step out of it. I just go somewhere else. I can be sitting in a car with somebody. They can say something that just doesn't work for me. I can step right out of there.
You know why?
It's simple.
I had such a hard time getting there. Like you, Michael, I had a long time. Self-esteem. I didn't think I was worthy to be able to do that. And so, it's that, and your spiritual path helps your self-esteem and your self-worth immensely. My Lord, immensely. And that's what enabled me to do that, was once I realized, hey, wait a minute. I'm just as worthy as anybody around here.
Exactly.
I'm no better, and I'm no worse. We're all the same.
We're all the same.
We're part of the one again.
We're just the one.
And then when that hit me, I was able to do that.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize what may be holding them back from that, and it's just keep on that spiritual path.
See, the first time I ever saw you, I knew that we'd been in another life together. I knew that. But I also knew that in this lifetime you were very shy.
Still am.
And you would not look me in the eye. And I'm the type of personality that is going to say, you are going to look me in the eye.
Do you know how frightening it is to look?
It was probably very frightening when I was staring at you across the room. But anyway, I knew it. I thought, as soon as I went in, I said, oh, I know this guy. I've known this guy several times, And then here I'm speaking to him, and he won't even look me in the eye. So I had really a path that evening to go down, to come to you on several different occasions to where I almost just made you get in my face and look at me. And if you remember that, I did. I kept going at you because I thought, wow, here it goes with the passion thing again, and the road, because I saw that wonderful person sitting there. And I saw that light around you. And I also saw a very inwardly person that was not going outwardly. And it was just amazing. To me, as a spiritual teacher, that was you was like my pupil that night. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I've got to go in there and have a conversation with this guy because I know him. I just have to do that. And I did. It ended up to whereas when, at the end of this meeting we was at a spiritual meeting, that we actually stepped out on the porch, going out to the car, and we had a brief conversation that was about 2 or 3 sentences, but you initiated that. And you just do not understand at that moment what you did. because I got in the car and I congratulated myself for staying on the path of really tapping into you.
You recognized that I was at, believe it or not, a crossroads, a fork in the road on my spiritual path. You recognize that fact. So you helped me along that. And as a spiritual teacher, I'll always be grateful for that.
Well, it was, and I take no credit for that because it was totally given to me from divine to keep after you to do that.
It came through you, though. So
it came through me.
I thank the spiritual and human being.
Thank you.
and you know what? Every single one of you out there that's listening to this is a teacher.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And we're all students and teachers. And so,
exactly.
What a wonderful example, because any one of you out there could run into somebody with a similar kind of thing, or where you could help, in some way.
Where did we get started? I got started reading a soul purpose book of Sylvia Brown. It didn't even take somebody to be in front of me. It was always in me, but I did not know it. And there was something within me that picked that book up at Barnes & Noble to read it. And within 30 pages in the beginning, I woke up. It was like I woke up, and I could not get enough of it. I read that book. It took me 2 days, and I sat there and almost didn't even sleep at night. I was so into the soul purpose of how she was resonating with me through words. So it can be any different way. It can be all kinds of different way.
Absolutely.
It can be through animals. It can be through everything. It's just, you just open yourself up and say, I will receive it.
And you know what? I just had a quick memory flash, and then I picked up the card at the same time, and I'll never forget, because this was a really transformational moment for me, when I was at a class in I think it was Pennsylvania, and I was walking down the aisleway, and I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry," blah blah blah, and like there was something wrong with me, like I was interfering with the people as I was walking by, like, excuse me for being in your presence, that kind of thing. And one lady just stopped me, and she looked at me, and I'll never forget it because it was such a transformational moment. And she said, "Don't you ever," and she said it like 3 times, "ever, ever, ever say you're sorry for being you."
That's
awesome.
awesome.
That's it.
And it's the same energy as this assertiveness card for me, because I've been on a long journey of that process, and even from time to time I'm taken back to that memory to trigger of, even in little ways sometimes. Exactly. I'll go back into that little that place, and there's been such a huge shift, but that story just popped back into my head.
Isn't it interesting how each one of us knows when the light turned on? Mm-hmm. It's like a switch. It's like a light switch. You can equate it to that. It was down and just flipped it right up in your own. It can be just that fast. Mm-hmm. It can be just that fast. I know Michael and Lot and myself was doing something this week, and we got that message so much from the angels and the galactic world and all of this, that you don't have to do anything. You have 10 steps, and we will take you through every single one of them. Just relax. That just so well, I just relaxed my whole brain. And I'm just thinking to myself, okay, I'm just going to sit here and it's going to come. And when you can get to that point and trust it and know that it's just all of it divineness.
Absolutely.
That's when it totally works for your whole life. And you don't even think about anything. I don't think anything. I know I'll always have abundance. I know I'll always have love. I'll always have exactly what I need. I will have that.
And with that, I think we've just about called it a show.
I think we have too, and it's been wonderful.
It has.
And I just love it. The 3 of us here at the table has been extraordinary. The energy has been extraordinary. And just having 2 men and myself here has totally been extraordinary.
It's been a blessing and a ball to me. I've had a blast.
Oh, fantastic.
I appreciate you having me.
Always.
Absolutely.
Always.
Well, we'll have you on here again.
Absolutely. You can come as much as you want to come.
And with that, y'all have a blessed week out there. And do check out the fabulous meditations that we have on Lighten Up Tools. What a wonderful way to connect with everything we've talked about today. Creating a sacred space to go there.
Lots of love.
Lots of love. Talk to you again soon.